Okay. With this, I'll have all of my thoughts out about the game. Last thing are the characters. I'm gonna deal with the main cast later. For now, let's talk about your supporting cast. Some of them more play than others. Like, I'm not even gonna talk about, like, what is her name? I don't remember her name. But the girl who gives us our assignments and says, please head to the classroom. In the student affairs, not even going to talk about her. I don't really have much to say about Lore, the Beastmaster, or the old man professor who I don't even remember the name of. Likewise, I don't have much to say about Melanie. Melody looked like, Melanie being the school nurse, she looked like she could be interesting at one point. Like she was going to have something going for her, this gimmick. She did not. I believe there's one instance where, I think it was during like we're looking for spooky stories where we go into her office and there's blood on the floor or something and it's like alluding to her being a vampire. I don't remember, but it looked like she could have been interesting. Nothing came of it. So with those out of the way, there is Tony and Renee, there is the principal, the vice principal, and Isolde. I pretty much said a bit about these characters when I was talking about the story, and I didn't have favorable things to say. Tony and Renee are pretty much nothing. They are Isolde's lackeys, and I made a joke about them being Team Rocket early on, I think, which, oh boy, are they not. Jesse and James got something going for them. At least in the anime, I remember them getting episodes talking about their backstories and how they joined Team Rocket and all of this. Tony and Renee don't get that, especially Renee. Renee is nothing. You can put Renee, if you swapped Renee and Lore, the Beastmaster, I don't think nothing changes. The dialogue might, but I don't think anything else changes. Renee gets nothing, and Renee is almost nothing as a character. She's basically Lore or Melanie. Tony gets something. He gets this little rivalry with Flay. But the deal is that nothing comes of it. Like, you could say you have a lot of buildup of this thing that Tony has with Flay and against Flay, but nothing happens. We get the tournament, we get instances where Flay's with us and him and Tony trash talk each other. And Tony has this sort of inferiority complex thing going on. But at the end, like the last scene we ever get of Tony, because he graduates, the last thing we get is him and Renee saying thank you to Isolde. And Isolde is Isolde, so she's just like, oh, well, bye. So Renee is nothing. Tony had something, and then nothing comes of it. Like, the last thing we should see of Tony is like a final showdown with him and Flay to determine something. And regardless of how it ends, even if you didn't want to show us the conclusion, I would have gotten something out of it. But as it stands, we get this guy who's introduced as a rival to Flay. And then we get throughout the story him being a thorn in our side, and when he gets to see him interact with Flay more and more, we get more glimpses of said rivalry, and then he just up and leaves. And the last thing we get is him saying bye to Isolde. So Tony and Renee, nothing. You have the principal of the school, who, oh boy, do I despise this character. I despise him. He is not just the bumbling oaf, he is a doormat, a bigger doormat than Vane is a majority of the time too. He just gets railroaded by everybody. He does nothing. You would anticipate that the alchemist principal of the alchemist school would be an amazing alchemist with some talent and some authority and knowing what he's doing. but he's just incompetent. He's played for laughs, probably, but like I said, when the game is all happy-go-lucky fun times and it's just no consequences, then fine. Him being a bumbling buffoon is fine, it's whatever. But the points where the game seriouses up and wants to pull in something and wants to start adding consequences, that's when his bumbling is just infuriating. That's when him getting walked all over is annoying. That's when his incompetence like, I'm gonna mention this when we get to our own characters, the main characters, but the principal and the vice principal, like, here's the deal: the vice principal is written out a lot. She is. And you know why that is? It's because she is efficient, she is effective, and she is not a doormat. So if she was present for a lot of what happens, things would have consequences, and they would potentially ruin the story. You believe Tony and Renee burning down that tree, the vice principal wouldn't have done anything? Like, let's say the principal, because when Tony and Renee did that, there were no teachers present, and no teacher ever weighed in or talked about it ever, so whatever. But put the principal there. Put the principal seeing this and reacting to it, and what's the principal gonna do? Oh, I can't believe what they've done. Oh well. Put the vice principal there, Tony and Renee are out. They're gone. Alright? That's all there is to it. So, I don't have much to say about the principal other than I despise him. There's the vice principal, who is great. Alright? Alright, I see the dynamic you wanted to go for. You wanted to have the likable, cool guy, and then the super stern, ooh, you don't like him type person beside him. But you didn't accomplish that, because the principal isn't likable. He isn't likable. For him to be likable, he has to have some sort of authority and effectiveness. Alright? As it stands, he's not even the cool guy who's cool with the students. He's next to nothing. He's fluff. But the vice principal, like, my initial opinion of her was this super annoying, she's gonna get on my nerves quick. But, like, she's a great character because she is effective when she comes in, and she is no nonsense. She wants consequences for actions, and she wants them to be, for the most part, in my opinion as well, she wants equivalency. So she wants Moopy expelled because of the chaos he caused. I find that to be a adequate punishment. Alright, so she matches the punishment. Like, she isn't over the top. When Anna is getting bad grades, she comes in and is like, Anna needs to take makeup tests, or else she's out of this workshop. She's not over the top evil like I thought she would be. She does have those moments of being completely unlikable, and it's mostly when she's discriminating against our workshop because of her disdain for Flay, and when she just has something against us for being in that workshop. But beyond those moments, which are pretty much front-loaded, beyond those moments, every other time she shows up, I enjoy her. Not voicing her, but I enjoy her. So I love the vice principal. The vice principal is great. She had a bad first impression from me, but seeing everyone else, no. Oh, I guess there's also Zeppel. Look, I'll put it this way. Zeppel was neutral. I didn't feel the way I feel about the principal for Zeppel. But since Zeppel was neutral, by the end, when he does turn on Vane and just runs cowardly, that's when I have something against Zeppel. And you could say, well, any rational, normal human being would fear Vane for what he is. No. I harped on this plenty, but no. Alright? Vane's a mana. Okay? Get over it. He can grant wishes. Get over it. fear him if you want. I don't care. I don't see why you would try to ostracize him and bully him like the students go that route. Makes no sense to me, but that's whatever. So that's Zeppel. Then there's Isolde. It should go without saying, I hate Isolde. I hate her. I really do. She makes no sense to me. I had my question when I was talking about the story of how did you not talk your lover down from this ledge over the months it took him to make Vayne. But who knows, maybe Theophortus is just so great he created Vayne overnight, whatever. Isolde makes no sense to me. Like, here's how I would have done Isolde, and this is just spitballing, and it's also a hindsight 2020, and hey, it might even be inferior to what came out if you are a fan of Isolde. But I would have given Isolde an eye patch. Now what would that accomplish besides making her look cool, right? Arg, Isolde. No, I would have given her an eye patch. For what purpose? To try and tie together a lot of what is just contrived by the end. Like Vayne's amnesia, convenient amnesia, Isolde's not being present when Theophortus dies or not pursuing anything, waiting until Vayne comes to this school as a teenager to actually attempt to do anything. Like, if it was Isolde with an eye patch, and what I would do is be like, Isolde came by and saw that Theophortus had died. She placed the blame on Vayne, this abomination, human mana thing that was created by alchemy. And that's in line with what goes down. I mean, not her being there, but her blaming Vayne. That's in line with it. But I would make it so she attempts to get rid of Vayne and loses because Vayne's just that powerful of a creature. That would give some credible threat to Vayne and why we should feel he's dangerous, because as of the end of the game I was like, what are you afraid of Vayne for? What? Because he has this potential? There's a 1%? No. So that gives some credibility of a threat to Vayne. It would put Isolde not in a more favorable light for me, but like, it'd give her something. Like, we could have a reveal of later on Vayne lost his memory because of the battle he had with Isolde. He might have bested her, but it's not as if Isolde was weak, and so Vayne lost his memory because of that. Isolde lost her eye, and we can have that reveal come out that you're the reason I lost this eye. Like, I feel like you could have more to it, and I feel like you're lacking something, because I have another question, which is, why did Isolde do nothing the entire time? She knows Theophortus died, she knows Theophortus was working on Vayne, she knows that this is what Theophortus wished for, and she knows Vayne exists. She didn't do anything to Vayne or attempt to do anything to Vayne for the, I don't know, how old is Vayne, 16? She didn't do anything for 16 years after her lover died? You would think that in a furious rage, Isolde would have went to that cabin to encounter Vayne and do something about it. And because that's missing, Isolde feels lacking. And because Isolde feels lacking, what we have in just her outright hatred for Vayne, I feel it's kind of irrational. Especially because she blames the power. And at the end, she's like, I can't truly forgive you. And I can't stand Isolde, dude. I can't stand Isolde. A part of it is, at the beginning, she's just petty. She's just petty. If she felt the way she did by the end of the game, why was she just so petty at the beginning? And petty is just, Tony, Renee, I want you to mess up their assignment. Vayne can't get an A on this assignment. She's petty at the beginning, but then there's a turn to just evil by the end, and she's more evil than Vayne's mana, I mean not Vayne's mana, Vayne's power ever was, in my opinion. And so that's why when the power personification just puts on an evil grin and says, "I'll have to get rid of you." I'm like, what? This came out of nowhere. More out of nowhere than Isolde. Because Isolde starts with pretty much putting glue on your chair, and by the end she's killing one of your friends. As a teacher, this is ridiculous. As Isolde was shown to be, this is ridiculous. Like, if you felt this way from the very beginning, what were you waiting for? What were you waiting for? Oh, you were waiting for Vayne to make those bonds. I can't do anything until he has true friends. Then I can kill one of them to make him feel what I felt. I mean, if you wanted to explain it that way, that can kind of make sense, but the game explicitly states none of it. So that's just headcanon from me. I hate Isolde. She makes next to no sense to me, and I feel like there is something missing. There's just pieces missing. If it played out the way I was saying, where when Vayne killed Theophortus because it was Theophortus' wish, and Isolde, in her grief, went to attack Vayne, and then we have that's being the cause of Vayne losing his memory. We have that being a reveal of why there's this hatred for Vayne and all of this other stuff. Like, that could pile on. As it stands, I feel like we're light. We're carrying light. There's no baggage here. There's no luggage to carry. So, on to the main cast. I'm going to construct a tier list here. I'm going to construct a tier list from top to bottom, and I'm going to do it twofold. I'm going to do one about the characters themselves and their story, and I'm going to do another about their play style and how effective they are. Yes, but understand I'm not talking about the best character. Like, my tier list isn't who you should definitely be using. My tier list is just their play style and how much fun I had with them personally. So let's go over their stories first. I have not seen all of the endings by this point. I might have, if I did record the endings, I'll have them in before this part probably, but I haven't seen them all yet. Well, I have in the past, but I don't remember them. Plus, if I included any words about it, that'd probably be a spoiler if I didn't do them all. Who knows? So, excluding the endings, which is hard because we did see Nikki's. At the bottom of the tier list for our characters, I'm putting Roxas. I don't like Roxas. I really don't. You see, the deal is Roxas hates our protagonist, and I hate Roxas. And the same thing with a lot of things not being explicitly stated. I don't believe Roxas explicitly states why he hates Vayne, but the assumption that I'm going with is that he's just jealous. Vayne is the son of this famous alchemist, and Vayne got into the school like that. Vayne got full scholarship, free ride, woohoo, because he's the son of a famous alchemist. Where Roxas, I don't remember if it's stated, but I believe Roxas at one point mentions that he comes from a line of famous alchemists or great alchemists or something. If that's never stated, then that's on me for fabricating that and thinking that. I also believe that there's a point where you're talking to Roxas and you want to talk about something, and Roxas is just like, I don't have time for this, I have to study and get good grades or something along that line. So Roxas, it's... I kind of want to say it's the Goku Vegeta thing, where it's just the naturally gifted guy who's coasting versus the guy who is playing catch up and working his hardest, but he can't overcome that natural talent no matter how hard he works. I want to say that that's how it is, but the problem there is Vegeta is great, and I really like that character, and I don't like Roxas. Vegeta hating Goku makes sense to me. Roxas hating Vayne doesn't, and it's specifically because he hates Vayne. And it's because I know Jessica got into the school the exact same way Vayne did. Alright, not the exact same way. Alright, Jessica wasn't the daughter of a famous alchemist or anything, but Jessica just got picked up. Like, she was gonna go to jail, and they were like, well, we'll bring her in, and we'll train her, so this won't happen again. Like, Jessica's here for that. Come on. Why do you hate Vayne so much? Because you have to constantly look at Vayne? I don't know. But as the story goes on and as you hang out with Roxas more, like, I feel like the thing is you're supposed to get the feeling that him and Vayne are growing closer. That Roxas, he hates Vayne starting out, but he slowly over time is warming up to Vayne. The problem is I never got that at any point, and the reason is because everything and every time Roxas interacts with Vayne, it's forced. He's given an ultimatum. He's not doing it because he's slowly warming up to Vayne. He's doing it because if he doesn't, he's gonna lose his mana. He didn't join the workshop because, well, Tony and Renee are despicable. I owe you an apology. He joined the workshop because Flay made a deal, and Tony and Flay made a deal, and he's honoring that. Like, I'm supposed to probably get the impression, and maybe you did, I didn't, get the impression that over time, Roxas is slowly warming up to Vayne. But I do not get that. I don't. I never get that because every single time we interact with this man, it's the mana saying, hey, you better be friends with him, or else I'm out of here. And Roxas being like, fine. And because of that, I can't stand Roxas. He is my least favorite of our protagonists. He really is. I mean, would the ending change that? I don't know. I haven't seen the ending in years. But I kind of do remember the ending. I kind of do remember Roxas's ending, I'm not going to lie. And I won't spoil it. I'm just going to say that it helps, but he's still my least favorite. Alright, Muppy. Yeah, Moopy. Alright, right above Roxas sits Moopy. I do not like Moopy. I really don't. And this is very simple to get across. It's that Moopy is a gag character. He is just a gag. He is just a joke. Alright? He has no reason to be there at all. He's not even there half the time. Like, he gets introduced last. And you know why that is, right? Even in the last cutscenes we get, Moopy plays no role in them. He doesn't. He just doesn't. And that's why he's recruited last. Because he's just a gag. And if you had him there, he still wouldn't play a part. Even in the beginning. And so, make him last, is if you had him there from the beginning, you definitely notice how he's not a part of anything. But getting him last, you're hoping it goes unnoticed. I definitely noticed. At the end, when Isolde's killing whoever, you can have somebody comment. You can have Flay jump in and be like, you're despicable. You can have Jessica jump in and go, how could you? You can have Roxas jump in and be like, I can't believe this. You can't have Moopy jump in. Even if he's playing it super serious, you can't have him jump in and not ruin the tension. That's why Moopy has no play in any of the story cutscenes or any of these serious cutscenes. Moopy has no play. Moopy participates none. In almost all of the ones Flay, Nikki, Jessica, Anna, Pamela, Roxas are present for, they can chime in at any point and contribute a little something to it. Moopy does not and cannot, because he just ruins everything. Moopy is just a gag, and he's a gag I'm not even there for. All of the shenanigans that go down with interacting with him, doing his social link thing, I'm not even enjoying. I really am not. Like, if you love Moopy and his antics, that's fine. But he's a gag I'm not there for. There are gags I'm in for. We want to play some Ultra Instinct Shaggy and play it up like he's the greatest. I'm there. You want to play King from One Punch Man and hype him up? I'm there. I can get in on some gags. You want to Shrek? We can Shrek all day. I'm in for some gags, and other gags I'm not. Moopy is a gag I'm not in for. That's what puts him at the bottom.
My, I thought I was going to die.
Right above Moopy is Anna. Yeah, I really do like Anna. Oh, I guess I should comment on Moopy's ending. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but does it improve? No. Roxas' ending improves him a little, but I still despise Roxas. Moopy's ending, don't change nothing. It doesn't. Whatever. Anna, though. Back to Anna. Anna's just generic. She's just generic for almost anything anime related. She's just the serious one. Alright, that's all she is. But wait! You might think there's something unique to Anna even. It's a gag. And we just went over Moopy about gags I'm not in for. Anna's gag is one I really don't like. Anna's is, she'll misunderstand something and then unsheath her sword. I didn't enjoy it the first time. I didn't enjoy it the fourth time. It's just not something I'm into. What puts Anna above Moopy in that case is not the fact that she's generic, but because generic isn't bad, alright? It isn't bad that she's generic. She's just the serious one who has to take over the dojo and wants to get through school. And no shenanigans. Alright, there's nothing bad about that. What I actually enjoy are a couple of times you hang out with Anna. Not every time, and that's what puts her low. The times when it's her training Vayne and seeing his potential, and it's just building this relationship, this rapport with her and Vayne, those are awesome, and I very much enjoy those. The whole she's serious and has to take over the dojo thing is generic, alright, is generic. The fun part about Anna and what I like is when she's just becoming a teacher to Vayne, and when she's training with Vayne and they're doing their thing. I like that, but that's a very small part of her. About the ending, that expands on what you think it might expand on, and it helps, but it don't move her up my tier list, I don't think. Maybe it does. Maybe it would switch her and the person I'm about to talk about. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Above Anna is a tie. That's right, a tie. It is both Jessica and Pamela. Let's talk about Jess first. I said when I was talking about Isolde that I felt like something was missing. I feel that exact same way about Jessica. Like, I'm gonna say this. I didn't go for Roxas's ending, but I didn't feel like I was missing something by the end of the story with Roxas. I didn't go for Anna's ending or Moopy's ending, but I didn't feel like I was missing something. But as it stands, more so than anybody else, I feel like Jessica has something missing. There is no conclusion unless you go with Jessica. Where everybody else, I can draw my own conclusion, I cannot for Jessica. There's just nothing. Pamela. I'm not gonna lie, Pamela and Anna might very well be interchangeable here, but Pamela has one thing going for her, and it's not even a fetish I have. I don't, I really don't, but like, I love the fact that Pamela's a ghost girl. I don't know, something about that just brings a smile to my face. The fact she's a ghost girl gets Pamela additional points. For no reason. For no reason at all, she gets additional points for being a ghost girl. But outside of being a ghost girl, which is pretty much her entire thing, what is there to Pamela? Not much. She haunts the library. She's playful. She likes cute things. She's very bad at, I don't know how I describe it. Like, she's very unprofessional, which I don't know how to say it, but like the whole thing of the monsters are taking better care of the library than Pamela ever did. Don't let her come back here. Like that. I don't know how to describe that type of thing. But like Pamela, and once again, it might be because we never pursued her to the end, but Pamela was probably, aside from Roxas, so far that we're covering, because we'll get into the other two
I'm able to switch.
later. But Pamela is probably the most consistent so far. Jessica goes from I love making bombs and potions and we're blowing up labs and I got into this school because I was about to get arrested to I'm terminally sick. I don't understand the concept of death. Anna goes from, well, you know Anna, I have to take over the dojo, but I also misunderstand something. Better cut somebody's head off. Muppy is Muppy. He's trying to devise some evil plan always, and Roxas is consistent in his hatred. But Pamela's also consistent. Like, there isn't some huge shift for Pamela. In one episode with her, she's telling you to assemble cute things so she can decorate the library. And in another episode, she's telling you to assemble cute things to decorate the alchemy lab. There's no huge shift. Pamela is consistent. I don't dislike what she is. There's only one real moment that I dislike for Pamela, and that's at the dragon fight where the dragon's like, "You're the son of Theophratus? I hate that man. I'm going to destroy you." And Pamela goes, "Well, you can just destroy Vane and let the rest of us go, right?" Really didn't like that. But aside from that, I'm pretty okay with Pamela as a whole for the rest. And she's a ghost girl, so bonus points. Honestly, Pamela would be neutral if not for the bonus points of the ghost girl. So top two for me. Only two left, right?
I'm getting tired.
Oh, and the Pamela ending, I'll be honest with you,
Don't bully me.
I don't remember it. I honestly don't remember Pamela's ending. But if Vane still had his wish-granting powers, I don't see why Vane wouldn't just revive Pamela and end with her, but he doesn't have his wish-granting powers by the end. I don't remember the ending. Just don't. Alright, so... Flay. Yeah. Flay, I like for the same reason I like the Vice Principal. I'm not a fan of Flay's shtick of the hero of justice thing. So I'm not into the Saiyaman gag. Some gags I'm in for, some gags I'm not. I'm not into Saiyaman. Alright? I'm not all aboard the Saiyaman train. Shrek train. Let's go. Replace Saiyaman with Shrek. All in. All in.
I'm able to switch.
And so I'm not into Flay's gag right there. I'm just not into that. But what gives Flay a lot from me, for me,
Take this.
is that he's honest, he's earnest. Like, when he's trying to get Vane to his side, he's paying people off to pretend to be heroes. And, like, it helped a lot that when people were taking advantage of us, Flay didn't go, "Well, we're heroes and we have to help them." He's like, "People are taking advantage of us. This isn't right." I like that. But also, the Vice Principal. No, not Flay and the Vice Principal's dynamic. Remember what I said about the Vice Principal? That I liked how she was the serious one. How she actually said something at the moment I needed it to be said. How she fit. She just fit, alright? She wasn't over the top a lot of the time. That's how Flay is. In a lot of scenes, when things do get serious, and Flay is present, and a lot of these scenes when it's just a bunch of dialogue and dots and I can't believe it. Flay's the one that's like, "Shut up. We got an enemy. Let's just fight." And I really appreciate Flay for that. I really like how Flay is the one. Flay is the no-nonsense guy that's like, we're in front of this dragon. There's been a bunch of banter, and he's just like, "Man, look, that can all wait until after this fight. Let's fight." Big points for Flay. I didn't think throughout the entire game that I would like Flay as much as I did, but it helped immensely that in almost every one of these scenes where we're just standing there facing a boss and getting a bunch of dialogue, Flay is usually the one to chime in with, "Alright, enough talk. Let's fight." And of course, the ending for Flay, I don't remember it at all. I don't remember Flay's ending. I think I know what Flay's ending is, but I can't be 100% sure. I'm 100% sure on a few of them. Flay's is not one of them. But Flay's in a good spot, so whatever. Last, but certainly not least, because she's topping the chart, Nikki. Now, I'll be 100% honest, I cannot eliminate Nikki's ending from her position. I can't. And I gotta spoil it. Nikki's ending is the only one where Vane's a dad. That's it. That's the spoiler. Oh, it ruined the entire game for you, huh? I love that ending. That is my favorite ending in the game. It really is. But yeah, Nikki's up there. And Nikki's up there for, like, if I think about things I don't like about any given character, I have my things I don't like about them. I can't say I have something I don't like about Nikki. I think there's one or two moments where something happens that I don't like. And I'm trying to think. I think there was one moment where Nikki stole something and lied about it, and that was the end. And that's the one thing I didn't like. I think it was a potion that Jessica made, and Nikki stole it, and then was like... And the reason I didn't like it isn't because Nikki stole a potion. Who cares? The reason I didn't like it is because Nikki was super adamant about, it wasn't me. I never would have done that. And this is... But aside from that moment, I like the fact that Nikki's the one who's like, Moopy in your stupid antics, I'm not in for it. Because, hey, that's parallel with me. I didn't get into Moopy's gag, neither did Nikki. I like that, just like Flay, during these serious moments, Nikki can be serious. I like that when we're against somebody, and Anna or Jessica or whoever, like the Isolde thing. If I remember, like a lot of people in our party were just like, what were they like? They were like, Isolde, you can't possibly be ... Where Nikki is pretty much just, shut up. We're not even listening to you anymore. And I appreciate that. So Nikki and Flay, a lot of overlap with what I like about them. What puts Nikki above the rest of pretty much everybody is that there's something I can point to and be like, I don't like about this character for a lot of them, or something that's not great. Like, I don't dislike Flay's Hero of Justice thing. I don't dislike it. I'm just not into it. It's not great to me. I don't have something like that for Nikki aside from that one scene. So that's what put Nikki... That and the ending is what puts Nikki at my top of the list. And then there's the alternate tier list of the characters and their playstyle. This one, gonna probably go by pretty fast. I would actually put Anna at the very bottom. I put Anna at the very bottom. Look, Anna has maybe 2 things going for her. And aside from that, she's got next to nothing. The one thing she does have going for her is that she can hide away. And I've abused that a lot. She can just hide. So long as she has SP, she can hide indefinitely. And if she had some way, if there was some SP regening item, Anna would be busted, because she'd just disappear infinitely. But that and her incredibly high speed, not as high as Nikki, but she has like a base high speed stat. But the problem with Anna overall is a similar problem to Vane. Also, I didn't talk about Vane. Vane's a protagonist. I don't feel like I need to include him in any of this. Maybe in the fighter tier list, when I'm talking about how their playstyles are. Maybe. But she has a similar problem to Vane. A problem that I was complaining about earlier. That problem being that Vane's ability to just upgrades, like he gets his pillar that hits 2 people, and by the end he gets a much stronger pillar that costs a lot more mana that hits everybody, and it's just an upgrade to the pillar. And so 3 moves are taken up by this pillar, and because I don't learn that many moves, I'm just like, ugh, I wish you would have just given me the strongest pillar and gave me 2 different moves. Anna has that in spades. There's not a lot going for Anna move-wise. Do you want to cut the enemy twice, 4 times, 6 times, or 8 times? Each one costing increasingly more mana. And like the gimmick I figured Anna could have would be, because she's a katana wielding, speedy little girl, was that she'd have like high speed and high crit and deal out a ton of hits. But she doesn't really do that, not naturally anyway. So the 2 major things Anna has going for is that she can hide away and that she can veil the party and reduce elemental damage. Aside from that, like, yeah, I like her flurry of attacks. I think she has the best critical art in the game because she fuses with her mana and becomes adult Anna, which is pretty cool. But aside from that, she's got nothing going for her. If you've seen me use Anna, and I use her a lot more than I use some other characters, obviously, but that's because I like her aesthetic, and I like the fact that she uses a samurai sword. That's it. Those are the reasons I use her. Whenever I did use Anna, I did one of 3 things. I would hide away. Anyway, I would hide away. I would use her strongest ability, the 8 slashes thing. Or I would use the veil to protect my party from elemental damage. Right. That's it. Above Anna, if we were going to include him, I would put Vayne above Anna. The biggest detriment to Vayne, just mirror what I said about Anna and the upgrade abilities, and I feel like a lot of it's wasted potential. Like, think about what I did with Vayne. I analyzed things. I used Violent Pillar when there were a lot of enemies. And that's about it. That's about what I did with Vayne. Oh, I also used Chaos Dominion, his strongest ability, to just try to burst things. That's all Vayne had going for him. Well, what about Jade Shift and the other things? Well, since I'm supporting, they're lackluster, but there's also the biggest detriment to Vayne, his lack of SP. Like, but even if Vayne had infinite SP, all I do at the end of the day is just spam Chaos Dominion or Violent Pillar. Vayne has 2 super powerful attacks, and that's what Vayne has going for him. Other than that, like, him being able to attack 3 times in a row, or him getting a second card on the board, don't matter to me, because what am I going to use those 3 attacks or second attack for? I'm going to use them for Violent Pillar or Chaos Dominion. And if I don't have the SP for those, I'm getting Vayne out of dodge. So that's what I gotta say. Oh, and analyzing things, which is, I guess it was invaluable to some degree, but Above Vayne is Jessica. Jessica had this luck factor to her that I never really wanted to play with. Jessica was the healer, but she never learned to revive.
I'm getting tired.
And Jessica used additional items to double up skills. The biggest detriment to Jessica is that all of her super powerful abilities she could put in were double up skills, pretty much. She had to start a recipe using my items, which is another detriment to the character, but whatever. She had to start a recipe using my items, and then she'd get the move the next turn. Pretty much everything was a double up ability, unless it was a common spell, or a heal. And even her heals were double ups a lot of the time. She had cards she could put on the board, but like, that's it. That's it. Jessica gets big ups from Anna and Vayne because she had variety. She did, but she's probably the character I used the absolute least by the end because there was nothing for her. If she could revive, she would have been in the party because she could revive a character. As a healer, the lack of that sucks. All she has is increasingly stronger heals. She's not even a support. Like, if you took away Anna's veil and gave it to, like, if you made Anna's veil, Roxas's veil, and gave them to Jessica to make her a full support character, she'd be higher up because of pure white mage. But as it stands, she's both. She's a white mage, but she's not a great white mage, and she's this item using alchemist synthesizer. Do one or the other. You either double up skill and get some amazing elemental damages or whatever, or you take my items and you activate instantly. You don't do both. Not a fan of the healer who isn't an effective support, and not a fan of the alchemist who double up skills like 9 times out of 10. I do like the fact she had a ton of variety though, and I would give her that. Above Jessica is Moopy, and Moopy sits kind of square in the middle because Moopy's uses are limited, but they're kind of invaluable in a lot of ways. Moopy can absorb pretty much all of the normal enemies and turn them into poonies, but I never had need to do that a lot of the time, except for but a lot of the time I didn't need that, so I didn't use it. But just know that he can do that, and the fact that he can is big plus. Like, I gave Jessica points for a lot of variety, even though I didn't use Jessica a lot. So I gotta give Moopy points for 2 abilities outright. One, to turn enemies into poonies, default enemies, and another is to trap enemies in a pot where they can't move, which is hilarious because it can work on some bosses, and it's great when it does. Another thing, which I didn't factor in for anybody else pretty much, but another thing is Moopy's support ability. His support defense absorbs everybody, and he solo takes the AoE damage. His is the only one that'll protect you from AoE. Jessica's doesn't change her position for me. Moopy's does. It gives him additional points to be able to be the one and only AoE damage soaker. He also has a passive when he dies to detonate on the enemy. It's not great, but it is a thing he has. And aside from that, nothing else to really mention. His spells beyond the first 2, which can transform stuff, are pretty lackluster to me. They're just fire spells, AoEs, you know, mage stuff. Above Moop. Above Moop.
Phew, finally won.
Nikki probably has the most variety in ability types, but she likes elements, so she doesn't have that much variety going for her overall because of the distinct lack of elements. But she has so many moves. I think she has the most moves, period. Maybe Pamela rivals that. But yeah, the deal with Nikki is that, like, I'm not even going to talk about the positives because I feel like the positives are counted for in just saying that she probably has like the highest move pool, if not the second highest. The big deal or detriment to Nikki is, of course, the fact that she needs hearts to use moves. Her strongest moves take ridiculous amounts of hearts, as well as double up skills, which are just the bane of my existence. You want something done, you need this move, and it's going to be super effective against this enemy. Well, wait. What Nikki does have, though, is incredibly high speed, high attack, and tons of moves. You need a move for a given situation, Nikki's probably got you covered, unless it's elemental damage you need. If you need to hit one person, you need to hit 2 enemies close together with a move that hits in a specific area, you need to hit everybody, you want to focus one enemy, Nikki's pretty much got you covered on all fronts. You want to steal, you want to stun, Nikki's got moves for everything. For every occasion, Nikki has something. Above Nikki, Flay. Flay got tons of play for me, tons of hype because of his right in charge, giving him incredible stats. Well, no, maybe it was the gear I gave Flay that gave him incredible stats, but Flay having a self power-up also helped. And for the record, the only self power-up. Nobody else learns a boost naturally, I don't believe. I don't think so. Like, if you need to learn boost, you put it on a piece of gear and give it to a character, or you use an item to increase stats. But Flay had it naturally. His moves were very limited and very lacking. Like, if he had Violet Pillar, if he had an AoE that can hit everybody, that'd be dope. But it's one of those things where, like I said, when I use Vayne, look at what I do with Vayne. I use Violet Pillar, or I use Chaos Dominion, or I switch them out of there after analyzing. When I used Anna, I hid away, I would Veil, or I would use her strongest move. With Flay, I would right in charge and use one of two moves, or three. I would use his Screwdriver, which was his strongest skill, I think. I would use his defense down, or I would use his stars that put a bunch of cards on the board. Flay lacks in variety, makes up for it with ridiculous amounts of strength. And you know what? For me, that's more than enough. That is more than enough. When Flay was doing more damage than anybody else, when Flay was doing more damage than the super abilities of my characters, that was what was up. That was it. That's what puts Flay up here. Above Flay is Roxas. Roxas is probably one of my least used characters. Period. But there is no denying what Roxas brings to the table. You can't deny this man. Regardless of if I used him or not, you can't deny it. There you go. That's how you know this ain't no favoritism. And I'm not just saying, oh, well, Nikki's high up on the list because I like Nikki. No. But even though I never used him, I cannot deny that the person you would probably want in probably every occasion, every scenario, would likely be Roxas, honestly. Like, if there was one person to always have in the bag to be switched in at any moment because you need him in to do something, it'd probably be Roxas. More so than Jessica, more so than Moopy, more so than a damage dealer, because that's what they are. Probably be Roxas. Probably be Roxas. And of course, number one is Pamela. Ghost Girl. No. I think Pamela, like I said, her and Nikki have the most abilities in the game, which gives them the most variety. The thing she has over Nikki is that Pamela actually has elements to some of her attacks, as well as Pamela has status effects to them as well. Nikki does have some, but she doesn't have status effects. She has, like, easier to stun or something, whereas Pamela has slow, daze, I think, is one of them. She can stun. She has a move with a high stun chance. So she just covers a lot more bases than Nikki. Even if Nikki has more moves, a lot of Nikki's moves are just damage dealing variety. A lot of Pamela's have effects in additions to them. There's also the fact that Pamela revives. Okay? There is also the fact that Pamela uses HP for certain moves and recovers SP on her support attack. There's just so much going for her. As a mage, she can keep up her mana, like really keep it up. She has a full team heal naturally built in, just like Jessica, but it deals damage, as well as one of my absolute favorite things, my favorite mechanics, is the deal damage based on how low your HP is. Pamela has that. And she has, like I said, moves where to use them she gives up amounts of HP. You can manipulate it to get to really low HP with Pamela, and then spam this move that costs SP to just deal tons of insane damage. I love that. I really do. And the fact that she revives allows you to pull some shenanigans off, like her plus Anna. It never worked for me. It almost never worked, because Anna inevitably would run out of, because anytime I would employ that strategy, it would be against a powerful enemy. But like, it is a fun strategy to do, to have Anna disappear forever and have Pamela 1v1 whomever, usually a boss that was kicking my ass. But have Pamela 1v1, Anna disappear, and Pamela would just die and revive constantly, getting 1 or 2 hits in before she gets nuked again. And then Anna will pop out, go back into hiding. Fun strat that you can do. But yeah, Pamela's got to be number 1 in the character gameplay wise and how much fun I had with them. Like, you would think Flay would be up here because of how much fun I had audibly using Flay and how I would just laugh at damage numbers. But no, Pamela takes the cake. And that's it. That's the characters. Still love Nikki though. Of course there couldn't be a teleporter out. Of course. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the optional. I believe that's the optional. Let's go back. Let's see. We'll go look and see if anything changed or happened or whatever. But I believe that's all there was to it. Nothing in the middle. We know it's on both of those sides. Nothing in the middle. We know it's on both of those sides. Anything down the center? Did this change its destination or something? No. I mean, there is the possibility that the enemies, the bosses respawn, because I beat them. And I beat the entire thing that the bosses respawn. So let's go back here and backtrack to see if we can get back to a boss. Maybe. Just maybe. Oh wait, no, these ones lead you back to lot 9. Right. So the first 2 take you to lot 9. The very last one should put me in front of the previous boss, I believe. So if we, from here, backtrack, like we're going to lot 45, we could potentially encounter the boss if the boss respawns. Over here is where we got our items. I doubt item chests respawn, so, or maybe we can give it a look. Yep. There's an item core. Nope. A soul core. Is that a new one? No. We are missing 2 cores. Like, there are 2 cores in here we never found. A metal core. Nope. There just exists 2 cores we never found. And I'm convinced, I'm 100% convinced one of those cores is a crit plus plus. But we're gonna backtrack. The boss? Yep. I mean, I forget which one you are. I might not even want to fight you. Screw it. Let's go. I'll cut this. Wait a minute. Is this the... Bruh, if this is the Vayne boss recolor, I'm mad. This thing takes forever to kill. That's the only thing about this. It's not even hard. It just takes forever to kill. Stake up. I don't care. Stake up.
I'm able to switch.
I mean, there's no reason for me to include this, right? I guess I can use this as a backdrop to discuss the post-game overall. If this is, in fact, the end of the post-game, I can't think of anything else to do. Like, there's something I want to do, but there's no bearing to it. What I want to do is go to that one door. The door I keep looking at. I keep looking at this door, hoping something will happen. Nothing happens. But I want to go back to that door again and see if something does happen. If we switch in Anna, she should go before the boss. Yep. So post-game wise, I had some not nice things to say before, and my opinion hasn't changed. It really hasn't. Of all of the JRPGs I've ever played, ever, from Final Fantasies to Star Oceans to Wild Arms to Tales of to one-offs, Valkyrie Profiles, Okage.
I'm able to switch.
Just no matter how what am I trying to say? No matter how obscure the title. Actually, I don't think Okage even had a post game like at all. So I guess you got that. It does have a post game. I can give it that. But man, oh man, oh boy, oh man, do I not like it. I don't like this setup of how the enemies are handled, where one, it's only a single gimmick. Two, it's the exact same gimmick for everything down here. And I mean everything. There was next to nothing that I encountered from secret gangsters. Ooh, the secret gangster, which is a unique enemy to down here, I believe. I never encountered that in the main game.
Call me out too.
Nope. From secret gangsters to the kobolds, the basic little baby kobolds. Everything down here had the exact same stupid, hey, are you critting? Oh, well then, no damage. It is one of the most annoying gimmicks I've ever had to deal with. And that's because it's luck. That gimmick is nothing but luck.
Good night.
To and fro, back and forth, luck. And when you apply that to everything, to the most basic encounters, no, I didn't want to fight anything down here. More so than the fact I didn't have to fight a single thing. Not a single thing down here was worth my time to fight.
Bully me.
More so than that, I didn't want to fight anything. The bosses, I mean, one of them, that girl who got 6 attacks in. Yeah, pretty good fight. Not gonna lie. Let's not pretend it wasn't. But the other ones, my man who just flooded the field with carts, he didn't even do that the first time. If you remember the first time we fought him, he did nothing. He just attacked. Basic attack, and nothing else. He didn't do anything like that. He didn't do his little metamorphosis heal. He didn't bust out the cards with the stars.
I can switch.
He did nothing. So, lackluster opening into that girl with 6 starting attacks, which, I'm gonna be real with you, huge difficulty spike, if you ask me. Then we get this guy, I think, who, no wait, I think he's the second to last one. We get the vampire guy. Meh, he's the middle of the road between the easiest and the hardest. Then there's this, which isn't really a threat. I wonder if this will work on you. Regardless if it works or not, I don't care. I'm gonna try it.
Let's see what you got.
Wait, really?
I'm getting tired.
That big thing is in this
Don't
pot.
bully me.
That's how it goes. Oh, that's dumb. That's dumb. But yeah, this guy, he's big, he's intimidating, he mimics the final boss. He's not a threat. He's not a threat. Like, the hardest fight in this entire game, and I still can't beat it, for the record. Well, I can. I can beat everything now, but I can't beat it legitimately. And by legit, I mean without using Moopy to turn them into poonies. That triple gangster layout of the Uber gangster, the gangster boss, and the secret gangster, I can't beat that. I can't beat that. And there's no fun in it to fighting it or being like, oh man, what a challenge. The ultimate challenge of the game. No, there is no challenge. There's no challenge because it's entirely luck-based. And I hate it because of that. I hate the gimmick of this final dungeon. The rewards of it are
I'm getting tired.
disappointing. The rewards are disappointing. The encounters with their gimmicks is disappointing.
Go and play with him.
As an overall, like, unless, you know what, we'll find out. This shouldn't hit Pamela. Yeah, she's good, which is all that matters. This guy is the least threatening of all, so who cares? But, like, there's one thing to find out. Because the bosses do come back, as we can see right here. There's no reason to fight these bosses, I don't believe. But because the bosses come back...
I'm getting tired.
Oh, I think I know what it wants. I think I know what it wants. Don't bully her. I think it wants me to go down to the very, 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 very bottom floor where we had to fight that gauntlet. The three of them together, and then the fourth one. I know, that's not necessarily meaning that the game wants me to do it. But on that bottom floor, there's like 4, 6, 12 attack fruits maybe?
I will support you.
Maybe? And I think it's like, hey, you want to farm attack fruits to get super, super strong and even be able to, fight triple gangsters, then go to that bottom floor. Done. Then go to that bottom floor, fight that gauntlet again and again and again and again and again, and farm fruits. Go there, fight that gauntlet, farm fruits. But what we're gonna check, and this is the last thing, then we're done, and Khemia is done. And oh boy, did it not go out on a good note with me. What we're gonna check is... okay. Ah!
Let's get serious.
Anyway, what I went over there to check was the bosses respawn, the items, the little item cores respawn. Okay, okay. The chests don't. Which means that Vane got his weapon, Moopy got his weapon, Anna didn't. Anna didn't get a super weapon. Roxas got his. Flay did not get a super weapon. Pamela got a super weapon. Nikki got a super weapon. And even Jess got a super weapon. Vane didn't get super armor. Jessica got 2. Nikki got 2. Anna didn't get 1. And she can't equip Jessica's. It's unique to Jessica. Flay got 1. Roxas didn't. Anna didn't. Moopy did. Khemia. Khemia. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You just got some wrinkles, alright? That's all I gotta say. You just got some wrinkles. We're gonna do one last thing. One very, very, very last thing. 2. You can count it as 2. First, we're gonna go and double check this. Triple check even. That this is all luck based. And I just got unlucky. Unlucky, right? Yep. 2 cores that we never found. We just never found. a fire, wind, and earth core. I assume that's a water core. And I don't know what this is, but we never found it. And like I said, there aren't that many stats in the game. There really aren't. So you either have to have, because I think everything is accounted for. You might be, yeah, not everything is accounted for. So resistance isn't counted for. Defense, speed, attack, magic, HP, resistance isn't counted for. So this would be resistance plus, I'm pretty sure. And this, I think, would be crit plus, which we never found, which was the only thing I was looking for. Would have been a godsend on my way down there. But yeah, I'm gonna go check one last thing, and I will meet you there. And it will be the final thing we do in Khemia. You know what? I'm cutting in here. While I walk to this door, we'll continue to talk about the post-game. Early on, very, very early on, with my negative impression of the post-game going in, I said 3 things I look forward to are enemies that test my skill, as well as the equipment. I didn't really get that. It wasn't a test of skill, because it was just crit or nothing. Crit or nothing. Crit or nothing. Everything. So that's out. But here's the idea, that even in other RPGs post-game, where it's like, take Disgaea, which isn't the definitive example, it might not even be a good comparison. But in Disgaea, you fight tons of fourth wall breaking post-game content characters and Easter eggs and cameos and whatnot. In Valkyrie Profile and Trice games, you do as well. Even if I got the references and knew these cameos of the characters we had to fight in the post-game, that still wouldn't be... It still wouldn't, because they didn't talk to my characters, there wasn't some exchange of banter, there wasn't even the barely anything of, hey, who is this guy? And then I get a killer catchphrase from that character from whatever game they were in. I don't recruit them to my team. If I beat them, I don't get their weapon or anything like that. Just, ugh. So, as you know, this door, I've been on about this door forever. No, there's clearly something behind this door. If I could no clip, I would go behind this damn door. And there were like maybe 1 or 2 other places in the entire game throughout my adventure where I got to a point and it was like, hey, this thing won't open. Maybe there's something here? But that's it. The very, very, very last thing I'm gonna look at. And then we're saying bye-bye to Khemia. I don't know if I'm gonna do all the endings. Maybe I've done them already. Maybe I haven't. If I haven't done them by now, I probably, and I'm saying this before I even start trying to, I probably concluded, yeah, this is too much. I'm not doing that. Because let's be real, I gotta go through multiple chapters and the final dungeon boss gauntlet in order to do it. Huge pain. If I was going to do it for just the girls, maybe. But to do it for everybody, which is, I'm doing all or nothing. This is the very last thing. Say bye-bye to our crew. Bye Vane, bye Pamela, bye Nikki, bye Moop, Muppy, yep, bye Anna, bye Flay, bye Roxas, bye Jessica. The very last thing is, did we get a special rumor for beating the post-game? Defeat enemy at the old schoolhouse closed area. Oh, at the end of it. So I guess that is. Oh wait, here we go. Don't fight any enemy for more than 10 searches? What does that even mean? Well, I guess we'll end on the high note. That is the final rumor that we could possibly unlock. What is pacifist? Yep. If you make it easier to run away. Nope, just speed. Okay. the final rumor. Which, if it's overpowered, who cares? We got all of this sick, awesome, amazing armor. If we get an awesome rumor, what am I going to use it for? To go fight the final boss at the end again? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. What you got for me? 3,000. Alright, I'll spread this rumor. Look forward to it.